Hello mates, welcome to the West 6 Mixology podcast. I'm Scotty Clark and our show today is about that iconic Italian aperitivo that captures summer in a glass. We're diving into the vibrant world of the Aperol Spritz, exploring its bittersweet complexity, effervescent charm, and how this Venetian classic became the ultimate refreshing cocktail that transports you straight to the canals and piazzas of Venice with every sip. The Aperol Spritz. Picture this. Austrian soldiers in 19th century northern Italy, sitting in Venetian wine bars, grimacing at the local vino. Too strong, too heavy, not at all what they're used to back in Vienna. So they do what occupying forces do best. They change things to suit themselves. They start asking bartenders to spray a splash of water into their wine. Spritzen, they call it. To spray, to spritz. The Italians, being Italians, watch this happen with a mixture of amusement and mild horror. But they're practical people. If the Austrians want diluted wine, fine. Except the Italians make it better. They swap still water for sparkling. Then someone gets clever and adds a bitter liqueur, Campari, Select, and eventually this bright orange number called Aperol. What started as occupiers watering down the local wine becomes the Aperol Spritz, possibly the most photographed cocktail of the 21st century, and a drink so simple you can make it with your eyes closed. Which, given its intended purpose, slow afternoon drinking before dinner, is exactly the point.
But here's what makes this drink fascinating. It's not about craft. It's not about technique. The Aperol Spritz is the antithesis of cocktail snobbery, and that's precisely why it works. It's engineered for one thing: aperitivo hour. That sacred Italian tradition of pre-dinner drinks and snacks where you're not trying to get drunk, you're trying to wake up your appetite while catching up with friends. You're meant to nurse this thing for 45 minutes while nibbling on olives and complaining about your day. It's social lubricant with training wheels, clocking in around 8% alcohol. A Negroni's gentler, more approachable cousin who still lives in Venice and doesn't take life too seriously. The Aperol itself was born just after the First World War. Two brothers, Luigi and Silvio Barbieri, spent 7 years tinkering with a recipe in Padua. They wanted something lighter than Campari, less aggressively bitter, lower in alcohol, something you could drink at 4 in the afternoon without regretting it at 7. They launched it at the Padua International Fair, and it caught on throughout Veneto, the region around Venice, where the Spritz was already a thing. But the modern formula, that 3-to-1 ratio we're about to discuss, didn't get standardized until the mid-20th century. And it didn't become a global phenomenon until much later, when Gruppo Campari bought Aperol and turned it into a lifestyle brand.
Building a new product? Temez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at temez.ai.
Suddenly, the Aperol Spritz wasn't just a regional Italian drink. It was la dolce vita in a glass. It was Instagrammable sunsets and European summer vacations. It was sitting at an outdoor table in your linen shirt, looking effortlessly chic, while secretly sweating through said linen shirt because it's 35 degrees and you're too vain to admit you should have worn cotton. The drink's bright orange glow photographs beautifully, which didn't hurt. Between the early 2000s and late 2010s, Aperol's global sales supposedly tripled. Everyone wanted a piece of that Italian afternoon magic. Of course, with popularity comes backlash. Around the late 2010s, cocktail writers started questioning whether the Aperol Spritz was actually good or just well marketed. The New York Times published a piece essentially asking, wait, does this drink taste like anything? Critics called it too sweet, too weak, too basic, which, honestly, misses the entire point. The Aperol Spritz isn't trying to be a Sazerac. It's not complex. It's not spirit-forward. It's a sessionable, low-alcohol drink designed for a specific cultural moment. Judging it by craft cocktail standards is like critiquing a beach ball for not being regulation FIFA equipment. Sure, but that's not what it's for.
Let's talk about what's actually in this thing, because there's more happening than you'd think. The base is Prosecco, that Italian sparkling wine that's softer and friendlier than champagne. Prosecco uses the Charmat method. Secondary fermentation happens in big steel tanks rather than individual bottles, which gives you larger, gentler bubbles. It's typically around 11 or 12% alcohol, with flavours of green apple, pear, white flowers. You want the extra dry or brut version. Confusingly, extra dry in Prosecco land actually means slightly sweet, with 12 to 17 grams per litre of residual sugar. It's an imperfect world. But that hint of sweetness plays beautifully with Aperol's bitterness. Then you've got Aperol, the star of the show. This is where the magic happens. Aperol is only 11% alcohol, which is barely more than your Prosecco. It's made from bitter and sweet orange, rhubarb, gentian, cinchona, and a bunch of other botanicals that Gruppo Campari guards like nuclear launch codes. The result is this bittersweet, orange-forward liqueur with herbal undertones and a vibrant sunset colour. The sugar content sits around 20 to 22%, which is significantly sweeter than Campari. That sweetness is crucial. It keeps the drink from being too challenging for the masses, while still giving you that appetite-stimulating bitterness from the gentian and cinchona.
Oh, hey, friend. Do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast, too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
The soda water is your unsung hero. Plain, unflavoured, aggressively carbonated soda water. Not tonic, not flavoured seltzer, not mineral water with personality, just cold, fizzy water. Its job is to lengthen the drink, add textural lift, and provide a tiny bit of dilution to bring everything into balance. Prosecco's bubbles are soft and delicate. The soda water gives you that extra effervescence that keeps the drink lively through the whole drinking experience. Ice matters more than you'd think. You want large cubes like 1 to 2 inches, or even a single large format cube. Why? Because you're going to be drinking this slowly. The ice needs to keep the drink cold for 30 to 45 minutes without melting into oblivion and turning your Spritz into orange-tinted water. Big ice melts slowly. Small ice is your enemy here. I know we're getting nerdy about ice for a supposedly simple drink, but if you're taking the time...
All right, thank you for joining us for the West 6 podcast. Drink responsibly, and if you had a good time, press follow and rate our show 5 stars. This is Scotty signing off. May your troubles be lighter than your cocktails.
Grep News. Thomas.